good?
Is it acceptable to say it was the performance so far of the World Cup? Maybe not.
The bad?
I'm scratching my head. The performances was just lacked that intensity.
And the amber?
Off the balls, performance rankings.
Well, I think we'll have a good game here deciding what colour to give the Republic of Ireland. They lose 1-0 to Portugal. But you look at the stats, right? So Portugal have lost just one of the last 22 home World Cup qualifiers. This is a tough side to beat in Portugal. Very tough. Ireland made a few changes to their starting 11, 3 of which were not involved at all last time around. That's how much change was here. It wasn't just Seamus Coleman. It was also Festia Basele and Jason Malumbi, who ended up having a pretty good game. In fact, Malumbi had one of our 2 shots in the first half that just went over the bar. 29-2 was another scoreline from this game. That was shots to shots.
Malumbi had 2 shots. So the other one doesn't count because it was blocked, was it?
I can't think of the other shot.
92nd minute.
Does anyone know what the other shot was? I was thinking back there in my notes, thinking back in the game, watch the highlights, it's not in it. Malumbi's shot's in the highlights. 7-minute highlights. There's another shot we had apparently, can't think of it. And so 29-2 and only 6 of those were on target for Portugal. So we did frustrate them immensely. They had 63% possession. Bernardo Silva said afterwards to RT speaking to Tony Dunne, quite complimentary about the Irish performance. And avoided being patronising and condescending with that. So they were actually very tough to play against. They were very well organised, tough boys. And he said, questioned whether the penalty was soft. This is Bernardo Silva. Said that was it soft? Didn't see it properly.
He asked.
Yeah, he was asked about it, and he went, I didn't see it, but was it soft? He was questioning.
It was a disgraceful penalty.
Well,
it was an absolute.
Where's VAR?
Penalty.
Where's VAR? What's happening?
It was a Danish fireman, was it?
Well, we didn't really ever get a proper angle, and it was decided upon very quickly. I was like, yeah, you're fine.
I think we got all the angles. It was like absolutely not a handball.
I think there was one more. I was still waiting for one more conclusive angle. But Hamer Hagrimson afterwards didn't seem too perturbed. He was annoyed about the decision, but the rules, he said, well, the rules are the rules, and so VAR is not going to overturn a refereeing decision if it's not blatant. There's an angle where it looks like he puts his hand up and it hits it. That's from a side angle. Well, I was livid when it happened. I think we all were. What a save. And so it was admirable. The display was decent because I think last week 4s and 5s are being thrown around like that scoreline was going out of fashion. I think people expected a right hocking, a hammering, a liftsooning, and it didn't transpire. It was the other side of it. It was the Irish backs against the wall, Moscow job without getting a result. And it's just that stoppage time heartbreaking. You look back at the goal. I see Mikey Johnson's been blamed for not closing down Trincao. He could have been quicker. It's a beautiful ball and it was a great run. I think Cristiano Ronaldo probably distracted the others from Ruben Neves' run, who had never scored for Portugal. This is his 60th game, first
goal. Grand.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten.
There was probably other moments. There was actually another chance that Neves had in the second half. You see, when he ran about 30 yards untackled and he tried to curl it around Caoimhín Kelleher, who saved it and collected the parry.
Oh, yeah.
I think if that had gone in, that would have been terrible from our point of view. We just stood off him constantly. But they came very close a number of times. Like with Ronaldo hitting the post in the first half, Ronaldo had a snap left-footed volley in the second half, another one with his right foot. Let's be honest here, it was the correct results. They just took a while to get there. But the performance was decent. I mean, that was, when I was thinking best case scenario, that was pretty it.
Best case scenario is we fluke a set piece or,
But even, they score in the 91st minute, so we have about 5 or 6 minutes to react. And it was never going to happen. Like, we're never getting up that pitch again. Because we had spent 92 minutes defending. It's very difficult to change that mentality so quickly.
Yeah.
Josh Cullen suspended as well for tomorrow night. So our 2 most recognisable midfielders in this era will be unavailable against Armenia. No Jason Knight, no Josh Cullen. Now we have the return of Jason Malumbi, who did play well.
Yeah, so the papers, they're saying that there's a doubt. Hagrimson's worried whether or not Coleman can go back to back. I mean, if you don't pick Seamus Coleman for this game now, you wouldn't, or would you necessarily, Arthur?
It depends if you can do it. It is. I think that's a real concern.
Well, would you not start with him anyway and get as long as you can?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it depends what shape he's in. Like, if he's fit, he plays for sure. But I'd say that's a very black and white kind of issue. I don't think there's there's probably not too much room for nuance in there.
That was his most grueling game in a long time.
Like, it's tough going. Like,
The guy's not playing a club level of any real note. Like, it's
switching
amazing
up for 90
performance.
minutes. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't just his defending. Like, the odd time we got the ball and started passing it around. Now it was defensive midfield and back that we were doing that, which we're always fairly comfortable doing. But he had a good link up with his club teammate, with Jacob Ryan. There was a nice few 1-2s. He had a great ball. Do you remember this, Coleman, in the first half? He played it over the top.
Oh.
And it was just intercepted by Diogo Dallo.
It was a brilliant.
It was a beautiful crossfield ball.
Yeah.
Brilliant interception as well. But had Dallo not been there for that,
That was Tuag Bennett, wasn't it?
Tuag Benny, about half an hour gone. It was only a couple of minutes after Malumbi's shot. So there was a period there, about a half an hour in or so, either side of the 30-minute mark, that Ireland were quite decent. So this crossfield ball over the top, just intercepted. So he really did bring that quality. It wasn't just his mentality. But he talks, he spoke with Nathan brilliantly. It was a really good interview. We'll play a portion of it there shortly. But the full thing is up. I think it's just under 5 minutes. And he talks about having the self-confidence and self-belief that he always has, being the disappointment of being left out last time. He just always believes in himself. And I guess he's getting to the point by saying, I wish the rest did as well.
Yeah. I would pick the same team. I know everybody's going to be like, I can't do that.
Who would you bring into midfield?
Who would you bring in for Cullen?
The small bun came on.
But when you say pick the same team, I mean, but you don't expect them to play the same way they played, do you?
I
You
don't
can't be
expect
having.
drop back and have one
Yeah.
shot and then have 30. But no, because the opposition won't control the ball as well as they did. So I would pick the same 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs, and I'd pick Bene. And look, well, maybe you just put Parrott into the team.
Two up
and-
front.
Yeah,
Still need to put a midfielder in those.
slightly more attacking. But my point is that, you allow the 3 centre backs to play 10 yards further up and be more aggressive. They're our best collection of players, right? There are players playing. Is there anybody? Obviously, Troy Parrott, if he's fully fit, is more likely going to be in the team. But I thought that the pace of Ebisele and Ogbene really helped. And we need pace in the team. We don't really have a huge amount of it.
There's one thing we didn't really use correctly, was that pace of the two boys. And Hargrimson said as much as well afterwards.
More long balls. Just
We didn't use their
force it
outlet
into the channel.
on the ball, yeah. Because there was maybe 2 or 3 counters that we had that we didn't fulfill. I just don't think we just expected. I don't know how far the game plan extended to on the ball.
Kind of been the problem the whole time, hasn't it? That's kind of.
I think it was the reason I was kind of hopeful last week about this game was that it was going to be an easy game plan, and it turned out to be that way. 5-4-1. We're very comfortable in that. We always have been.
Yeah.
That game suits us down to the ground. Now, there was the England game last year, which I think they did well in the first half as well at Wembley, and then Liam Scales got sent off, and then the floodgates opened.
Yeah.
But it didn't surprise me. It all depends what happens tomorrow night. It's in partnership with the game tomorrow night. Should we beat Armenia? It's been a good window.
Yeah.
Should we lose? You're going back to the Portugal game again and saying, okay, well, that's fine. You're against these world-class collection of players. But where was the ambition? That's where I bring in this Northern Ireland comparison. So they beat Slovakia 2-0 on Friday, and they play Germany tonight, which I'll be really interested to see. But I was going through this list of Northern Ireland players, which I'm sure many of you have to be familiar with. You don't need me to tell you, but even just a reminder, Jamie Bard up front plays for Stevenage. Ethan Galbraith plays for Swansea. Ali McCann in midfield plays for Preston. Shay Charles is on loan at Sheffield Wednesday from Southampton. Isaac Price, the other midfielder, West Brom. No great shakes here on paper, nothing to look at. You have Conor Bradley on one wing, who's struggling lately with Liverpool. He's at Liverpool, albeit though. Devaney on the other, who plays for Crystal Palace. And Trey Hume, who got one of their 2 goals, is now a starter for Sunderland in the Premier League. You equate it to Ireland, similar.
Yeah.
Similar. We have a few Premier League starters. And as I say, you could argue maybe slightly the Republic of Ireland players are better on paper. in terms of their profile. But Northern Ireland have that record that we touched on. You know, they've won 12-0 in aggregate in the home competitive games last 5. And they look like a really good outfit. And then if you want the extreme example of the Faroe Islands beating Czech Republic last night 2-1, it can be done. Limitations on paper is not the be-all and end-all. So that's where the frustration comes back. That's the other side of it, is the total lack of ambition on the ball. But I would veer towards the positivity of my initial point of it was a good performance. It's something to say, well, I wouldn't give up completely on this squad of players. We always seem to have it in us.
Would you give up on the manager?
I think it is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is done under Eamon Halgrimsson.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have to caveat that. Say we qualify, then it's like, okay, fair enough, you can stick around.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. I think so.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I think that would be a bit crazy. But it's just so unlikely. But I mean, it's just all of everything we're saying this morning, pretty much other than the very good defensive job, you just can't fully commit to it until what happens tomorrow night. It's just all about tomorrow night. And we're really not good at it's all about this game.
Yeah, I think they'll win, though. I do think they'll win tomorrow. It's one of the, like, I just don't think.
I have no confidence in that.
It just makes it, well, I do because I just think the loss in Yerevan was just so, I think it'll highlight how poor that was. You know what I mean? Like, not that they're a bad team by any stretch, but like, it's just one of those where it's like, I think tomorrow night will only, not the ease, I wouldn't say ease, but I think the kind of, I think it will be a comfortable-ish win tomorrow that'll only then highlight again how poor things were there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I didn't obviously see the match, but all the reports are that it took hungry ages to break them down, and the second goal only comes in stoppage time. So, I have no confidence. I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't bet any money.
I wouldn't be shocked either, like, but I still like it. It's just I'm kind of ready for his departure, and as it is, you look at Northern Ireland, you look at things like Michael O'Neill, and you just like even Steve Clark with Scotland, Craig Bellamy now with Wales increasingly. You're like, all these guys have that same sort of. They're all, I suppose, over the place, whatever, or linked to it.
Didn't Clark he had a slow start?
Yeah,
he's up. He
was under pressure.
I think he hit a record at the weekend, 70-odd games.
Yeah. Craig Brown himself and Craig Brown.
One of our rare great days in the last decade was against Scotland in 2022, wasn't it? A 3-0 win. Mike Obafemi's blaster. And he was under pressure after that. I remember speaking with Scottish fans in Dublin. Mike O'Neill's back as well for a second spell. Like, and usually, you don't. The second spell, I always question it, but he's doing unbelievably well. So yeah, you'd definitely be left a bit frustrated in that sense. I mean, comparison is a thief of joy and all that. But you can't help when you look around the other nations who right up the road or across the water who are extremely similar to us.
We're benchmarking. We're not comparing it. We're benchmarking ourselves against,
So I guess the big question here is, and we do have a clip of Seamus Coleman to play. So maybe we can decide on the other side of this is what colour to give Ireland. Let's hear from Seamus Coleman first.
Obviously, the penalty didn't matter in the end, but a bit of frustration with the referee as the game wore on.
Not as the game wore on. I just, listen. I found it difficult to speak to him all night, to be honest. But
is that because you weren't the captain, or
no? Because that's what I thought. But he's speaking with Bruno, so I challenged him on that. I said, so you'll speak to Bruno, not me. Just listen. I'm sure he was doing his best, but frustrating for us at times trying to understand some of the decisions.
Nice of Seamus to mark Nathan's departure as well at the end. I don't know if you've seen the full 4.5 minutes, but he's like, oh, best of luck to you. I did wonder, was he talking about some of the people here who'd written him off in the past? Certainly nobody in this room currently would have written him off.
The last goal scorer...
Unless you were part of the...
Seamus Coleman?
Yeah.
No.
The last goal scorer in a game that Nathan covered for the Republic of Ireland was obviously Ruben Neves. I asked him who the first was. Vincenzo Iaquinta, Italy. Spent about half an hour last night looking for a link between the two players. Can't find anything.
Nathan.
Both scored against Ireland.
6 degrees of separation.
Nathan, that's it. Nothing. So yeah, that's an excellent interview of people who missed it, because it goes into detail about it's not just the bullshit of like, oh, you got to give it your all and all that. He really means it. And he goes into depth about what I like about Coleman is he's layered. Like, it's not just all heart mentality. It's like you got to believe in yourself as a footballer to be able to play a bit of ball.
Yeah.
And he did, like, he showcased that in glimpses. But the referee, it was unbelievably frustrating to watch.
As soon as Coleman decides that he wants to stop playing, we should involve him at some level on his training journey. I'm not saying make him the manager, but bring him in, encourage whoever the manager is to get him involved as somebody around the place, because
So you'd have to pry him away from Everton.
but you can do that. You
Do both.
Yeah, that's
He has co-managed a senior game already.
He has comments.
And he's still playing away against Portugal.
It's
It will be interesting to see what way he approaches it, because he is like that reputation.
He's
as you're
beloved,
saying.
yeah.
It's no, but I more so mean the way he kind of his public facing thing has been all kind of passion, and he has to be the face of that thing. But I'd love to know kind of
the technicalities of
how deep his kind of brain goes on those things and what way he approached it, because like he's been such an amazingly good footballer. Like you just hope, I hope that it does go that way, because it's I don't know, like I suppose the PR aspect of it and kind of marketing yourself is all part of that, and I'm sure a lot of people who talk good talk in that regard don't necessarily walk it, but it's a petering out old end to his international career all the same.
We'll see. Well, the hope's
was a
not
good
there. We're not
performance.
out mathematically just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are really.
I'm not thinking. I'm not.
No,
it's not,
I'm.
it's not even being negative. It's just. I don't think
we-
the. It's a real shame that's kind of come to this,
Yeah,
because I think though it's becoming kind of increasingly.
we got a draw in Yerevan. We'd have been
It's
grand.
becoming increasingly possible. Like that this group was entirely get outofable.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it-
and the playoff.
It
the other
really
teams
was
in the
there.
playoff are all going to be grand.
Like it.
Well, sorry, Italy might be in the playoff.
Yeah.
Are definitely going to be in the playoff. But then
So maybe
the
it's
ones
not
that knock
gone.
them out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not gone, but Jesus, it was.
Somebody was saying there could be a Cabo Verde, Faroe Islands, and some other team group at the World Cup. At this stage, it's quite likely. I'm like, right, can we get out of that group? Probably not.
Arrows.
What did everybody make of the TV coverage? Conor McKeown's writing about it today in the Irish Independent, basically saying that so far for Hungary we had Didi Hamann and Richie Sadlier with Joanne Cantwell. The Armenia debacle was brought to us by Shay Given, Kevin Doyle and Peter Collins. And on Saturday it was Didi, Shay
and Peter Collins.
and Peter Collins. International week, same old problems, no cohesion, no chemistry, no flow. We're struggling to find space to make meaningful contributions. There's no spark, no natural energy source. It's all just a bit contrived. Yes, it's the RTE panel in its many, many configurations.
It's a good point, though.
It's an
He
excellent
makes a compelling case.
You're watching it and you're like, what? Why is Didi here? Like, no shade on Didi, great career. But what's he doing analysing Ireland football matches on TV all the time? Like, what are we... Is this like one of those contracts that we signed during the golden age and you're like, we need to wrestle the last bit of cash out of just to make sure that we get the value, can't be seen to waste the money? Or like, what? He's got no connection specifically to Irish football. Do we think he's scouring the lower divisions for knowledge of, what does he think of Conor Coventry? Should he be in the team? Does he still think that young fella Stephen Quinn should be in the team?
Yeah. It's a weird one. It's a weird kind of legacy, a weird legacy of that previous era. 'Cause I'd be struggling now to tell you when he even started.
Well, he was definitely there in 2012.
So it's that long back. And I can kind of understand it then. He had the heft. Like, the Istanbul was only 7 years ago, 7 years before. He'd obviously played in the World Cup final.
He's just very random.
It is a point of...
Yeah, the Liverpool link, I think, does justify it in the minds of some, because so many people...
Support Liverpool.
Yeah.
So any random Man United player from the last decade of
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't think it would be inconceivable.
Darren Fletcher, you're like...
Well, yeah, I think he was probably a little bit more prominent, but I don't think that would... Yeah, it is weird in hindsight to try and explain it, but I suppose it made sense at the time.
It's a point of striking interest to me that in this era of great change at the broadcaster publicly, a lot of people in, a lot of people out, Didi always remains.
Yeah.
They've kept him all these years. What's going on there? I kind of like him. I like his presence. He seems to like us. It's quite nice. He refers to us as we and us.
I am surprised he does the Ireland games with such frequency.
No.
Yeah, he says we and he said us. Is Conor saying like the opposite?
There was definitely one of the transcripts had a they.
Oh, he got excited. He was giddy enough at full time with the performance.
It should be noted that his
Say us or we.
presence for the Champions League coverage.
Yeah.
It makes, you know.
So maybe it's a deal where
I suspect.
I don't mind the Diddy thing. It was more the commentary team were interrupting each other on the regular. Des Kerner and Ray Houghton.
thought Ray had a great game actually.
But that was the only thing.
Enjoyed Ray. But I don't know. I think like there's a hierarchy of. I don't know. Is there an established hierarchy? Kevin Doyle is the best one they have.
It's completely random. It's completely random. There's no rhyme nor reason to it. You don't know what you're going to get. I just don't understand that you don't look around at kind of best practice with these things, and you kind of the most engaged kind of analysis thing in this part of the world is Sky Sports, right? And that's whatever, you aim for that, and they have the biggest personalities. That's fine, but that is still something they've created, and they've let all those people work together. And granted, they're doing it every single week, so it's a little bit different. But like, it's still a case of you build a team and you create that team. And even for thing, like, it doesn't have to be the same every single year on year. But you literally had a 3-month spell here where you're going to have 6 games. You should be aiming to sort that out in the summer and whatever else. And you have that together. They know they're doing it. Everyone knows they're doing it. They're all looking at different things along the way. They're working together rather than just coming in half-cocked every week with whoever else is going to, who's there today? Okay, grand. Different host? All right, no bother at all. Who's on commentary? Okay, grand. No bother. It's like, it's mad. It's a mad way it's like they're trying to keep everyone happy. And it's not, I think Conor makes the point, to be fair to him, like, it's not an individual thing. It's not like you're slagging off all these people, they're all useless. But just put some structure on it. Have some regularity. It's bonkers to me. It is bonkers. It just seems contrary to all best practice in these situations. I don't know. I don't see it changing at the same time.
No. Did he start at the 2010 World Cup?
2010. All right, what colour do you want to give this?
I hear the moral victory.
You're going.
It has to be red. We lost.
We lost.
I think we need to have those standards, right?
There's no conversation on it.
No, I think there is, because everyone's going to get hammered here. Everyone's going to say 4, 5, 6. That's a red. I don't think 1-0 last minute is a red.
How will you stop? It's red is red. What?
Well, it's the performance rankings, not the results rankings.
But the performance, we were battered off the pitch. It's like they miss an open goal. Bernardo Silva misses that open goal in the first half. If that goes in, it's a completely different story. Because then you start pulling out, like you saw at the end there when we started pulling out and Liao got that shot across.
Yeah.
It was only like...
Well, that's because we were trying to chase the game as
exactly.
before.
So
but that's different though. So why did, Seamus Coleman spend nearly 5 minutes saying, this is quite positive?
Because what are you supposed to do?
You wouldn't be saying that if it was 4 or 5, you'd be honest about it. This is not good. We were honest after the Armenia game. Very honest about what happened there. It's an honest bunch, maybe too honest for themselves. I think there's a point of difference here, lads, between 1-0 last minute.
There is.
And 4-5-0.
There is absolutely a point of difference.
But they're both red.
I don't think so. I think there's more nuance than that.
One is dark red.
What is this? Talk sport.
If we won,
let's have
if
some
we won
subtlety.
So if we won 1-0 or 1-5-0, they'd both be green.
Well, that's because Ireland have beaten Portugal away.
But my point is that it's a defeat away. We went there with the objective not to lose. That was the only objective we had, clearly from the tactics. Do not lose this game, and we lost.
So if we hung on for 6 more minutes, that's what?
But if we conceded in the 6th minute, but if we conceded in the 6th minute and still lost 1-0, it's still the same. It's a 90 whatever minute game. Like, the primary object was.
I can't get on board with that. But you both voted for it, so we'll go for it. I can't believe I'm part of this team that would give that a red.
So what the hell? Why are the standards so low?
It's not low standards. It was a decent. I'm apoplectic and actually holding it within that we keep on forgetting what this slot is called. It is not a review of results.
But the performance.
It is a discussion about performances.
But the performance led to a defeat.
Performance led to a defeat.
Yeah.
I think Portugal's consistent attempts at scoring eventually led to a goal. I think Ireland's performance within that was admirable defensively. Lads, we were talking about historic stuff here last week. We're going to get absolutely battered.
But we were battered. We didn't offer any. Like, I didn't think that we'd have 11 men behind the ball. I thought we'd show a little bit more gumption, like that. We'd have a little, and at least give an out ball. Like, I know Ray kept on talking about it on commentary as well. It's like, they have nowhere to go with this. We decided just let them keep coming at us. And we failed to execute that. As cruelly as it was, it still failed. It was the only plan they had, do not concede, and we conceded.
I don't know, I think we need to introduce more colours here. because
A rainbow.
I can't give this as a definitive red. That to me is crazy.
All right, it's your performance record. You get to pick.
No, it's we know in this new way we do these. We did
Collective
agree that
cabinet
it would be a democracy. So we'll put it in red. You two want red. I want amber. That's fine. Sometimes people's opinions are wrong. So throw them into red there. We'll move on. Shamrock Rovers. Red, I suppose, is it? Lost 1-0.
100%. They only needed a draw. They lost 1-0 at home.
So Shamrock Rovers battered Shells at the end of this game.
At
Couldn't
the end,
score.
when Shells had a man sent off.
So they had three headers in injury time in this game. I don't know if people saw this. It's pretty fascinating to watch it at the end. This Rovers record actually is quite similar to Portugal's at home in that they're fairly formidable. So you're talking, they've lost 3 in the last 23. It's only the third time this season that Shells have won 3 games in a row, or 2 games in a row, I should say. So there's been no real consistency for them, but they were by far the better team in the first half. Rovers made a good few changes, did a few players missing through international. Judy Pico Lopez, who's on the cusp of qualifying for the World Cup, of course, tonight, and Josh Honahan. But Shells probably should have been about 2 or 3 up at half time. Rovers are much improved in the second half. Those 3 headers in injury time, Corey O'Sullivan and 2 from Danny Mondrao, all extremely close. Had one of those gone in, they were going to be league champions. They'd be definitely getting green this morning. They were off the line away from green, but they are now red because they're no champions yet.
It's funny how the kind of a poor enough league running conflated or combined with the European games really takes the wind out of. Like, it must even feel to them it's just like it's living for Thursday nights, like.
And the cup final.
Yeah,
I think they did want that wrapped up, though.
I think
Very pissed off afterwards. Yeah.
Said,
I mean,
"Put
that is stating the obvious, but they really could have done with it. So Shells play Cork City tonight, Turner's Cross, and then Rovers are next up against Pats on Friday night away. Pats have been pretty rubbish lately, so that'll be interesting. And then they have a load of European games, and they have the FA Cup final to contend with. Good game all the same. So, all right, we'll give Rovers your red. What time? How are we for time here?
About 10 minutes.
All right, will we play Stephen Bradley? This is Stephen Bradley talking after his Shamrock Rovers team failed to win the league on Friday night.
Defeat in the end, not something that you're overly familiar with, but I suppose a lot of mitigating factors in tonight's performance and result.
Yeah, well, more the first half. I think you could see the changes that we had to make disrupted our rhythm. I think that was quite clear to see. But I thought second half we were excellent. I thought the players second half brought everything to the table, and it was just unfortunate we couldn't score that goal.
It was nearly a consequence of your success, you know, in fact that it's enforced because so many players are on international duty. This game comes around, the rechange fit game.
Yeah, it is. And again, we won't complain about it. If you look at the fixture, we're obviously missing players, and those players we didn't want to risk as well, considering what we have coming up. But we had to play the game tonight. We've too many games coming up. We've too much travel coming up. We had to play the game tonight. So no excuses. We knew we were going to be down bodies. It is what it is. First half, you could see that was the case. Shells are very good, to be fair, and we were off at first half. But I thought second half we were excellent and deserved to at least get a point.
Just in the first half, is that a consequence of, you know, players playing out of position, haven't played in a while, and almost a lethal combination?
Yeah, I think you can see our rhythm wasn't there. Our rhythm is usually really, really good. And you have to give Shelbourne credit as well, to be fair. First half, they were good. They scored, but they possibly could have scored just before that as well. So you got to give them credit. But it definitely, us missing players and players playing in unfamiliar positions definitely didn't help. But it happens, it's football.
So, red. Could have gone Shells green as well. Shells invisible green was not in the performance rankings, but a hell of a performance from Joey O'Brien and his side. We'll move on to the rugby, shall we? So I'll just quickly run through this. So Munster 3 from 3. They beat Edinburgh 2019 on Friday night. Now this actually would be up for contention of whether it's definitely green, because they did not perform very well at all. In fact, they were quite lucky to get away with this. They probably only won this game because of Edinburgh's discipline.
Should throw them in amber then.
They had 4 players in the sin bin, including 2 at once, that allowed Michael Millen to go over. He's had a great start to the season for Munster. Life under Clayton McMillan. But it was a flawed display. So yeah, I've no problem putting Munster in amber because they weren't very good. They won the game, but they weren't very good.
All right.
Munster and amber. Leinster, on the other hand, finally got their season up and running. Their first victory in their third attempt, 31-5, first home game of the season against the Sharks. Osborne, O'Brien, Van der Fleer, Deegan, McCarthy got the tries. Looks pretty good. Robbie Henshaw's a concern here, Ger, with injury afterwards, but they should have frontliners back for the big one on Saturday at Croke Park.
Some of them definitely. It looks like they're going to name Doris and McCarthy in the Ireland squad, but that they might not play before they go to Chicago to play the All Blacks. I have a weird sense of foreboding about this window.
Do you?
November internationals. I think that we might struggle to. I think that we might have 2 wins and 2 defeats, and we might struggle to get to 2 wins.
Would you, if that's the case, would you like to see some unearthing of new talents?
No.
Ahead of the World Cup?
No pricking around in this window. The most important world rankings in this whole cycle are at the end of this period. So you pick all your frontliners, all your best players, all your old pairings, and you finish this. And then after that, you can start your World Cup qualification, World Cup team players, easing some lads out. This is actually going to be, in retrospect, the best and most important time for some of these players who don't make it to the World Cup. This is their last bit of duty for them to show up, pour everything out, and then thanks for your hustle there, lads, but you're not part of our plans.
Must be a frustration for Leo Cullen. This happens every year, of course, that the URC season is interrupted. But just as the frontliners returns this weekend, they'll have another round of fixtures afterwards. But most of them will be gone again because early to mid next week they travel to Chicago for the New Zealand game. So it will be an interrupted first half of the season in the URC. Even more so than usual, probably. So Leinster, you can throw them into the green. You can have them being joined by Ulster as well, who won again. So their game was postponed because of Storm Amy previous weekend. They continue their winning ways. 28-7 against the Bulls. The hell of a performance against quality outfit. McCluskey, Augustus, the new player. Herring, Izuchuku scored the tries. Izuchuku looked like he did his ankle some serious damage when he scored the try. He was writhing in agony. Doak converted all 4 tries as well. So that's green for Ulster. And then Connacht, very poor display. They lost 14-8 away to Cardiff. How about this Tom Bone guy, this young fella? He's only 20 years old for Cardiff. So he scored Cardiff's 2 tries against Connacht. He also scored a hat-trick against Munster recently. Suddenly Wales look very tasty with him on one wing and Rhys Sammet on the other. Be a good old Six Nations battle there. But Connacht are definitively in the red. They were rubbish in this game, in a game that wasn't too high in quality, as it stands 14-8 to Cardiff. So that's our rugby for now. We'll have more of that with Quinny later. And then there was a load of GA club action over the weekend. We'll have a comprehensive review with Tommy Rooney later in the show. But just 2 points of note. They're both in this together. They're both clearly green here. Because Dunloy, they down 3 in a row Carrigan to end their 90-year wait for an Antrim Senior Football Championship. Hell of a performance here. They won 3-12 to 2-8.
Normally
over the weekend.
Hurling superpower in Antrim. And I think some outrageous number of dual players, something like 14, were knocked out last week in the hurling championship and showed up for the footballers.
Meanwhile, speaking of the footballers, Éire Óg have completed the double in Clare, which is a rarity in the county. So we had David Reedy on the show during the week, last week, talking about the hurling triumph, their first in 35 years in that category. But they've gone one better. They've doubled their load, beating St. Joseph's Dora Bearfield 116 to 2-6 yesterday to complete the football and hurling double.
The Kilkenny Hurling Championship final is going to be pretty tasty as well. We might talk about that a little bit later on, but it's going to be Shefflin versus Brian Hogan.
Yeah. Ballyhale versus Loughlin Gales.
Now, they've been the final 2, but this is the first time those 2 have gone up against. Am I right?
2 years ago, I think they played as well. Loughlin Gales won. Oh, yeah.
It'd be good to talk to Tommy about this because at this time of year, unless you have a vested interest in these clubs, it can pass you by very easily. You can miss out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're only getting reports.
Yeah, it is. It's a really hard thing to condense ahead of time. You do see great bits, but it's just hard to there's so much going on, and you never kind of know where the thing comes from until too late. But would Portugal be an infinitely better team if they'd were to drop Cristiano Ronaldo? Is he not in this most immense burden around their neck?
It's a great debate. I'd say a couple of those players are thinking any time now.
It's like,
this
just
can't
please, mate.
go on
He's obviously gonna go to
forever.
the World
He's
Cup.
40. Yeah, World Cup. He'll want to win that. I think he wants his landmark, doesn't he? Wants to get to that landmark.
Oh, he'll go nowhere.
Which one?
He'll stay. But good
I'd say
grief.
so. Yeah, like probably. Yeah, but like he does hit the post. He's 2 other chances. Very
I
nearly
didn't think he was
scores.
that bad. I think he's been worse in recent years.
Yeah,
I thought
there was a couple of years ago where I thought like this guy's an absolute burden, like a major international tournaments.
But whatever.
Recently. But the last year he's scored a ton of goals from.
11 goals.
Yeah.
Which I saw a stat today would make him like the 10th highest goal scorer in Irish football history, just outside the top 10.
Yeah.
He's scored those since we started this campaign.
Yeah. No, it's mental. No, like international tournaments recently, he's been very frustrating. I didn't think he was too bad. All right, that's your performance rankings.
Off the balls, performance rankings.